Okay, it was the Fouth ban we didn't get to see for second rotation, but so far it was a lot of ADC pressured out, a lot of dash champions pressured out. I'm curious if you were kind of positing it could be the Ezreal banned away from Weibo, something that could get away from both the Ambessa ult and the Jarvan. I'm leaning more towards getting rid of the Yunara, because I think if you have an Ezreal this game, it can kind of go a bit low damage. You can lock in a tankier support and not have too much problem. I suppose with the Nautilus off the table, you're a bit lacking. He's normally one of the best answers to it. As we do see, it was the Kai'Sa banned away from TES that has now changed over to Misfortune. That is the most important part. We have a Smolder fan in chat. I hope we don't get Smolder. Boring, scaling, long, yeah, whatever. Let's see the Kai'Sa locked in. I think for right now, Weibo Gaming and TES will both really fancy having that dive champion in the pocket, as it will be the Yunara knocked out.
Yeah, that was a good call out. That's another marksman that once you're empowered with the Transcendence, you can dash out of the Cataclysm with your E. Corki, another good champion that can easily escape a Cataclysm thanks to the Valkyries. So top esports, because there are already, there's so much damage in surplus across the entire board. JiaQi can take a bit of a back foot on this Corki and just try and play a little bit distance with the rockets. Maybe be empowered on that mid-game spike with the Trinity Force. But this still keeps things in the cards on what Fengyue's pick is going to be in the support role.
I just want to see them continue to dive in here. I don't mind Dash, actually. Out of all these options, they've hovered basically every ADC on the Rift. I want either Engage or that, and we go for the Engage. Kai'Sa, very good. Don't know if TES are going to regret changing the ban, all in all, as it will be the one picked up with the Alistar. We have got a full committal from Weibo. They want to go in, they want to go fast, and they want to take these, albeit squishy members of TES. A lot of damage, but all very squishy so far, off the Rift ASAP. And I would be surprised if we don't see the Rel, just because when you have Rumble, when you have Yone, having somebody who can clump up the enemy team, it's kind of devastating. Normally we would have, honestly, actually thinking about it, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get full Weibo. I think they probably picked up the Alistar in advance, predicting a counter Rel lock-in, but could have honestly seen Weibo go for it themselves, as now we just have what I expect to be an incredibly bloody game.
There's a lot of CC on both compositions here. Now, as soon as the Alistar does get locked in for Weibo, I'm glad that they did not swap the Pantheon over to support. While can be extremely aggressive and can find super early kills and all-ins, anytime you're trying to engage as Pantheon early on in the laning phase, it's just a simple headbutt. Yep. Back off. So not the most ideal setup to make that swap happen, but the game plan remains the same regardless for top esports. NaiYou has the ability to make plays with this Pantheon super early on, and once he has Grand Starfall in his kit unlocked, you can start playing on side lanes. You can send Corki into the mid lane so that Creme is now split pushing, and if he gets ahead on this Yone, it is very difficult for any of these individuals on Weibo's side to actually deal with a scaling Yone.
I suppose, yeah, I did ask for it. Point and click CC, the Alistar does give that, but it's not that long at the end of the day. Yes, you can get that point and click knock back into knock-up combo, but Yone can buffer so much CC in such an obnoxious manner. I've recently been spamming the hell out of Zoe, and every time I see Yone, it's just sadness. This champion can get away with so much if you're proficient, and Creme, one of the best there is. It's now as we are getting ready to hop into the Rift. Self-report.
Good Jios from the crowd.
Self-report for speaking over the Jios last game. I blame the earlier start to the game. You know, True. This is, you can't go for a bathroom break anymore. You get very heavy trading bot lane.
Oh my goodness, Elk forced to flash away, but now Fengyue is forced to flash as well before he's overcommitted. Now JiaQi, if Erha can get in range for a pulverize, Q-flash, right for the bush, it's not enough! JiaQi still picks up first blood, and now Elk feeling quite sheepish about this early lane start.
Not having the ward in the bush means can't extend the play hitting onto Fengyue as. You know, I was kind of excited. Oh, we did get jumped into game relatively quickly, but we saw last time. Really interesting start from NaiYou, as now we have like ships in the night. I don't know. Xiaohu does not look like he knows. He does not seem to be aware.
He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! How is there a Pantheon there when my jungler just walked into their enemy jungle?
Okay, we have mirrored creative pathing. Both junglers stealing a camp away from each other and then passing over.
Is he dead? Okay, no.
Yeah, if he didn't have the root, he was definitely dead, but is going to be able to walk out of this one. It means that now, Xiaohu down both summoners. Creme has basically just been gifted a free lane phase off the back of that. Jiejie is going to have to do some very serious work using that Rise Rune Prison to get a pretty free combo onto Creme ASAP. You need to get this Yone's flash down, because the amount of kill pressure they can exert just existing, going in for these quick trades and making Xiaohu's life so difficult in the early game, it could be just an instant falling point for Weibo. And I think the last thing they want right now, after picking up a lead themselves, beating IG, one of those teams that we would say, if we look at Group Ascend, there's the top three right now, JDG, AL, BLG, and then this bottom half, who are all competing to try and get that fourth slot. Dropping the game here is going to be so devastating, and doing it in an 0-2 fashion really is going to hurt Weibo's chances of competing for that fourth.
You're already put in a state of extreme discomfort if you are Xiaohu on this rise, because if you are able to link up with this Jarvan and attack this Yone early and prevent that snowball from going, then you buy yourself a few extra minutes while you're trying to use your lead in the mid game. But as you called it, Creme being gifted a free laning phase is not ideal for the problems that Weibo Game are going to have to be dealing with later on. And the fact that JiaQi and Fengyue already got the upper hand of Erha and Elk in this level 1 is already good signs that top esports are in a good spot to start the snowball. However, this crash down might be ill-timed because Jiejie has arrived to the bottom side. And now Fengyue is dead. Yep. JiaQi's going to do his best to see if he can at least pepper in some damage, maybe get a trade kill onto Erha, but Elk cleans Fengyue's health bar, and JiaQi's forced to Valkyrie away.
And his resources going over to Elk. We saw him on the Jhin last game, wasn't able to be the complete difference maker on that utility pick, giving a very much playmaking role over in this game. We've seen Elk at the start of the split and in Demacia Cup have some rather hit or miss games, and then other times be hands down the best player on the Rift. So which form are we going to get in this one? I would say his Jhin was solid overall. Kai'Sa obviously a very different skill set, as we'll have just some little posturing around the top lane, nothing too eventful. 369 base cancelled. It's Rumble along with the Ambessa, really two of the highest prio picks on the patch, and it's a question of if we can see again such incredible play coming out from 369 after what has been such a slow start to the split.
Sure. Not just on this patch, for a majority of the 2025 season, once Ambessa got released. This was a very common matchup that we saw along the likes of Cassante in the mix. There's some patches where Gwen was also insanely strong as well. For most of this 2026 season, it's mostly been an Ambessa jungle, but every now and then when you have a better playmaker like the Jarvan, and you can at least have a decent, safe enough laning phase until level 6, then Ambessa can be squeezed into that top lane role again. Now, Weibo Gaming, despite the early deficits, have been able to at least bounce back in terms of gold momentum, thanks to Jiejie making a visit to the bottom side. Now, Creme might be the next target here, but he still has Flash, and now Fate's Sealed available to escape.
It's going to give him the angle to walk out if needed. Here's the play. Both junglers nearby.
NaiYou is here to hover. Yep. ensures that Jiejie cannot get the gank off without putting himself in a bad spot. Valkyrie forward onto Erha, flashes out of the Valkyrie, mini rumble ult damage, and JiaQi just blows him up. Elk tries to look for a trade kill. JiaQi forced to flash away in time. And Elk now has an opportunity where once he hits level 6, can commit for an all-in onto this Corki.
And Erha with the spellbook does have that TP. It's going to be straight back to bot lane. Will force that pressure out. As it looks like actually TES's bot decide they're going to stick around. I don't know. Is Elk going to be able to collect this play? Yes, they do get the Crystalline Overgrowth proc. That is going to be important for quest progress. He's popped the potion. I think they're going for a dive.
Yeah, they know that Erha was looking for the head, but Pulverized Killer Instinct to commit, and Elk gets his second kill of the game. Looking for Fengyue next. Creme over the wall, is in the soul unbound, cleans house, bait sealed, flash by Elk, but he gets away from the flag drag off of Jiejie's Jarvan. Creme ensuring that he gets at least one kill and doesn't give over another. NaiYou from mid lane is now looking for Elk, has flash available, and both Jiejie and Elk know that he's not getting out alive.
Really good play from the TES mid jungle, having another strong performance, collecting off the bot lane, actually sticking around. And I think when you imagine which mid laner is going to get first roam off, you don't often think it is going to be the Yone over the Rise, as just a bit of heavy trade in mid, but all credit over. Really nicely done. We had Creme go bot, and NaiYou actually, I believe he tagged over to level 6 by stealing or eating, I suppose, Creme's mid wave that he was missing by being down there. So yeah, really solid loop up between the mid jungle duo of TES to turn this, what would have been pretty devastating play for bot lane, into, I would say, a gold positive.
Once again, as you called it, Creme drops the wave, heads on over in the soul unbound form, and had Elk not been able to use flash, that would have been an impressive double kill setup. Uh-oh. Jiejie knows that there is no flash on this Corki, so easy slam dunk, and now Elk is 3 kills on this Kai'Sa.
I want to bite back on that. It's Corki. Did he W'd at the very end of that, so I don't know. I think that may have been, JiaQi played a bit too far forward. Again, you picked a champion with a dash specifically because you see Jarvan on the other side. And still end up dying? Don't love it. But Fengyue walking up has Ignite up in a second. I think Elk's just solo kill here.
Yeah, Q stun for the barrier.
Oh, Knight's nearly there.
Great timing from Elk. It doesn't matter. Wow. That's awesome.
All right. The
Did you
peaks
hear
and troughs.
the question mark pings coming out as well? I'm not sure if they were in frustration from Elk saying, how did I just get solo killed by a support? Or if it was other teammates going, how did my AD carry just get solo killed by a support?
Rel, not exactly one of those champions since being a jungler that you ever really expect to get solo killed by. So, yeah. Think, plate greed. That's the best I've got for you there. It's, You will collect those plates, you will get that quest done fast, and Elk sent packing for it. Damn. Damn. I was just not expecting that.
Yeah. Oh, not ideal, but Elk still in a pretty strong position relative to his counterpart.
Yes.
Did lose some time, though, on the wave, as it gives JiaQi a moment to catch up on the farm department, still down about 10. Creme has been slowly ramping up, though, on this Yone. Went for the tier 2 boots upgrade. Oh, NaiYou's making a visit to top lane. Zika trying to reposition with a public execution. Good flash, though, by NaiYou, so that he doesn't give Zika a window to escape. NaiYou, once again, playing to the top side advantage and allowing 369 to get some love in this series.
Excellent presence of mind from Zika to throw out the ult, but NaiYou full respects that one. Not how you expect the flash to be used in the play, but I think if he doesn't, that suddenly goes very sour very quickly. So again, just the TES jungler is looking alive this series, going from the Poppy over to this. Hold on, we got Ignite bot lane. We took aggro
NaiYou and JiaQi are able to get away, but a decent Magnet Storm from Fengyue locks them all up and forces Weibo Gaming to get the hell away, and that was a big realm orb committed, so Creme is going to have a little bit of time to start whacking on this tier 1 turret.
It's going to be at least 2 plates, and with the off-camera grubs for Dragon trade that we did see, is going to be very happy with that one. As now we do have the recall coming out. Nothing more aggressive going to happen, and I will say, that was really funny to me that everybody just realm warps on the tower and nobody took aggro. They all just stood there, got magnet stormed, and then walked away. Peace was an option, guys.
So, one of the things that about this Weibo Gaming roster that was a concern is this is really a potential for a redemption story for a lot of individuals. Zika in 2025 was on an abysmal LNG roster and in the most fair sense of the word, in elo hell. And for Elk, he's got a chip on his shoulder because he just got replaced by Viper for BLG's, in their hopes, reaching a newer and higher ceiling for the 2026 aspirations. And both of these players have been playing pretty darn well, but overall, this Weibo Gaming roster, none of these individuals have really played with each other, if at all, in previous rosters. So, while everyone has a lot of experience under their belt and have been at various stages of international competition in the past, you can tell that Weibo Gaming is still trying to gel together and figure out how to work out all the communication kinks. As NaiYou, looking for Jiejie, gets the flash out of the Jarvan, goes back in with the Cataclysm. Elk is there for the follow-up. Magnetstorm tries to delay the play, but Creme with the Fate Sealed tags one, forces the flash away because now Xiaohu is peppering in the damage, but 369 lays down the red carpet and will lay waste to the entirety of Weibo Gaming's mid laner. Erha forced to run away, and 369 is the one that saves the day for top esports.
Excellent teleport down is going to be enough to push out the Weibo squad. And I think that is pretty much the equivalent to foreshadowing what you just did there. Talking about the Weibo roster, and at the start of that play, I was thinking to myself, right, okay, from this point onwards, we're going to talk about, as soon as we finish, yes, look at how well Weibo can collapse. This is the synergy that they've managed to build up so quickly. And then you can see the second part come through here with the TP in from 369. This is that, okay, yes, you can do the first level of playmaking together, but it's that second level of thinking of, okay, what's the natural repercussion of us engaging here without having Ambessa able to cancel the TP? Oh, it's us getting torched at Dragon Pit. And I suppose that is just one of those symptoms of being a new team with a lot of people all together, not having that necessarily cohesion, that ability to call from Zika ahead of schedule. Guys, I can't cancel Rumble. Like, if you're going to go for this fight while it's happening, you have to be ready for the TP. And yeah, it's just one of those things that hopefully, as time goes on, we'll see this roster continue to improve. Because, again, coming into the day, we're expecting Weibo to kind of dog-walk TES a bit, if I'm being completely honest. While JiaQi had a promising performance in his last game, before this one, Elk had also had a barnstormer of a series, so really was not expecting to see this level of competition, and TES going into Game 2 as the favourite.
Yeah. I mean, literally, Elk opened up our first game of the BLG series with a, or was it IG, where he had a Deathless Kaisa game. Hang on. NaiYou following up on Fengyue's Magnet Storm means that Jiejie is gonna get burned down to a crisp. Not quite. Last Cyclic Ignite is not enough. Got a little HP back. And now Xiaohu in a world of trouble, but at the right time does Realm Warp back to safety. Oh no, dude. Fengyue?
Safety is a relative term in the LPL. This is something I've learned very quickly on.
You're absolutely correct there, Melvin, and it does come at the cost of Xiaohu's flash. Still manages to survive, but it's enough time and pressure now for NaiYou to look for the second dragon of the game.
And funnily enough, Xiaohu is the last member of the entire game to actually finish his quest right now, as we do get this contest. There's Pantheon.
Wait.
Okay,
well, NaiYou does secure the dragon. Zika has teleported to the bottom side of the map, and Creme with the Soul Unbound will snap back to safety, but NaiYou does go down for his efforts on the objective control.
At least
we have an Infernal Soul game here.
Oh, didn't see this in the picture as a nice little engage, but focus back into main. Elk getting jumped on. Turns it around. Very nicely done. That ADC, that highlight player that we've seen both be the target of a lot of aggression from his team and from the enemy team, making pretty much all of the gold go into his pocket. 1.7k. Kaisa We talk about how ADCs scale all the time. We talk about how scary LPL ADCs can be. With the new quest and the amount of gold acceleration you could get going, with Kai'Sa of all champions, the reason ADCs scale is because you have AD, attack speed, and crit as all stats you can build. It's part of the reason why Azir is such an annoying champion, because he can build attack speed, AP, and cooldown. 3 stats to scale. Kai'Sa makes use of every stat under the damn sun. So Elk, with this gold lead, has all the pressure and all the power on his shoulders to exert just infinite fear in the TES player's soul, particularly JiaQi on this Corki, who I expect to be dived a few more times before the game is over.
Elk has already pulled out one of the best Kai'Sa performances we have seen in recent memory. And obviously, he's had a couple deaths this game that were not the most,
He died to Rel solo.
Yeah, that's definitely not one you are really proud of, but Elk is still in a prime position now with 2 items under his belt as this Kai'Sa, and his quest unlocked to start really ripping top esports a new one in these mid-game fights. Weibo just have to find the pockets and the engage windows. Now, once again, Creme is in a position to take over this game because the early game has been not as quiet as the Azir game before he started exploding in these mid-game fights, but he's been farming up a Storm. He's been able to contribute to some side lane advantages and some pick potentials. He's trying to hit his second item of the game off of that Noon Quiver, but the Blade of the Ruin King is a good way for him to continue staying sustained in the side lane.
And he has his jungler paired up with him, looking for a play onto Zika. This is just going to be a very scary situation. I don't know how much he knows, but he is playing incredibly reserved on the Ambessa right now. All abilities held, just going for auto attack last hits. Oh, call it a bit early, as we do have a lot of members converging on the top side, and JiaQi is, I would say, pretty scared on the mid tower when you're staring down.
He does have flash.
True, but Kai'Sa does too.
Erha, is he in trouble? Pops the ultimate, reduces the damage down as JiaQi just peppers in all of his artillery. Valkyrie over the wall. Erha tries to flash away, but the Q stun connects anyway, and looking for the follow-up stun. Cataclysm right into all 3. Jiejie is able to hold the line and EQ out back to safety.
That was an incredible Jarvan. I really thought that Erha was just dead to rights, but what a save. And it's going to swing the tempo back in Weibo's favor.
No! JiaQi! Doesn't flash the EQ, and there's no point in trying to use the flash now, so he goes down thanks to Elk committing the killer instinct. Public. You know what? Respect, Zika. If you had found Fengyue in that
goes
darkness,
in the clip folder.
Yep. That one goes into the highlight reel for sure.
To be fair, that is the default basing spot right there, because it's just in the exact position that if you walk from the wolf pit over to top lane, you're not caught on vision. Wow, good presence of mind from Elk there to walk out. That was a bit scary. Hold on, more stuff happening.
Creme, meanwhile, on the side lane. Yeah, Zika, is he in trouble? Blade of the Ruin King, this early on for Creme, is doing a lot of work right now. And thanks to being the mid lane role quest, he has powerful Berserker Greaves, so even more attack speed under his belt. Weibo, though, setting up for this bot line, or bot side dragon coming up in 24 seconds.
Yeah, I feel like we just got flashbanged by like 6 action plays back to back where very little happened on the kill feed, but we should really take stock of what happened on the summoners department. And I mean, we get to see this again, what looked like very scary situation for Weibo, but that is heal down, an important one. Flash down from the Alistar, another important one. Jiejie saves the play and his support. This right here, you're buying Erha a birthday present. Sorry, you're buying Jiejie a birthday present if you're Erha like that. That was
true.
An incredible save off the back of that one. We do have no flash on Alistar, and one of the things that is super important for both of these squads, they do not play well when they are being ran at. They play incredibly well when they are running at you. So, it is whoever starts the play, and whoever can keep that tempo going without burning all of your cooldowns to hit one target. You need to pace yourselves out. We need to see Alistar go in first. Jarvan land on top, Zika go in the backline with Elk flying in after some of those defensive CDs have been burnt from TES. Same thing goes the other way around. If we have all three of the important engage tools bursted from Pantheon ult, Yone combo, Rel ult, if that doesn't one-shot the entire enemy team, you're going to get counterpicked at the end of it. So this is going to be a real masterclass display from whichever team can pull off the first and then prolonged pick series throughout the fights. There's now a lot of posturing. The ultimate objective of the game, blue side Gromp, is not available, so we won't see a game-ending play there.
I'm just staring at this massive Kai'Sa gold advantage. Nashor's Tooth completed, and JiaQi is essentially a full item behind. Top Esports do have ways to deal with this Kai'Sa if they can combo Pantheon and or Rel CC into Creme's full load. Now, Elk has Flash, he has Killer Instinct, many ways to reposition and try and get out of a CC train, but you have to imagine that all eyes are on him to deliver Weibo Gaming a third game of the series off of this advantage.
It needs to be on Elk, but at the end of the day, no cleanse in pocket. We do have a Baron started. No Mikhail's picked up either. Both supports have these bagpipes. It is a really strong item on the scale of things. Bandle Pipes give so many stats as it's just being burned kind of off vision. Like, you can realm warp your jungler into the pit though, so Weibo are not fully equipped just yet.
Jiejie throws a flag down, 2.K. Ah, Jiejie! I've seen it so many times happen, and even on Pantheon, it's not enough for NaiYou to secure the Baron. Disaster for Top Esports. Creme gets dropped, so does Fengyue, and now NaiYou and JiaQi have nowhere else to run. Weibo Gaming, off of a Baron steal, will guarantee that this one's going the distance.
And Elk picks up a majority of the gold off the back of it. Very well executed from the entirety of Weibo Gaming to secure that one. A beautiful smite. I'm sure we'll be getting a replay of that one. And Zika keeps 369 locked in combat in the side lane. You can see a majority of his health bar is gone, but at the end of the day, there wasn't a Rumble ult to turn that play back in TES's favor. And I love this. They engage Snap onto the support, drag the Rel away, which means there's no potential for a wombo combo. Jiejie gets to the pit, and it is just perfect smite. That is actually perfect smite. Yeah, not much to be done about that one. You get what you get. And now the walk down is pristine, picking up both kills, losing none in the end of it. And I think Elk has to flash at the very tail end. That is probably the very small silver line you get if you are TES. Oh, and barrier.
For context, Melvin, even on the IG roster, Jiejie has pulled out so many epic objective steals. And even before then, I would have to go and pouring back through some VODs, but just the 2025 season overall, for the limited amount of time that Jiejie did get to play in Tier 1, this guy has just been unnatural when it comes to objective steals. Either at Baron, either at Dragon. They have been some of the highlights for this guy during the IG run. Now, Weibo Gaming are up nearly 7,000 gold off of that play, and while Creme was still in a position to be fairly strong on this Yone, that advantage is hard to use and leverage at this point when Kai'Sa is now 6,000 gold ahead of the counterpart, has a Zhonya's Hourglass in inventory. Cataclysm from Jiejie completely doing tricks on Fengyue and making him dizzy. NaiYou gets clipped by the public execution. It's a double kill for Elk's Kai'Sa. Creme sends it for the Hail Mary, but there's no hope left for this second game. The rest of Weibo are pushing Top Esports to the brink, and Weibo Gaming are ready for a game 3.
Looking like it in very good fashion, the counterpunch. And we went into this game thinking TES had the tools they needed to be able to pull off another impressive victory. But I think the main thing that changed is that 7.1k gold lead onto Elk. Put him on a carry, and that seems to be the identity that Weibo's currently most happy with. If you end up winning this series in a 2-1 as Weibo, I think you're okay with it. Because while the game score is incredibly important, what is more important is knowing how to win your games. And getting that experience on different styles and figuring out where we need to put our engage tools, where we can put our utility, and how many resources we need to give to Elk. Well, if you take a look at the scoreboard, it's all of them. But so far, he's paying for it. He's doing good jobs.
Yes. Elk has already delivered in a game where he was this far ahead on the Kai'Sa. Now, if Top Esports want to have some copium in the second game and find a way to steal away a victory, it's that in every series, in every game that Weibo could have won but lost, it was one person getting caught out. It's the man in the mid lane. Now, Xiaohu, this is the game where we do not let the allegations catch up with us so far in 2026.
Hold up,
Jiejie, hang on. This might be a bad position for the Jarvan, but he's got Elk right underneath him. Erha also swooping on in. Xiaohu has poured it in with Realm Warp. Turn from Fengyue, Creme. Fight field right up the 2. 369 from over the wall with the equalizer as well. But Xiaohu blasts Creme and ensures that there's no comeback happening in this second game. 369 gets dropped as well by Elk. NaiYou will be forced to run away. And just like that, the hopes for Top Esports fans for a comeback has been dashed away. A massive 10,000 gold lead and multiple members gone for the next 30 seconds. It should be enough time for Weibo Gaming to push into the base.
The wombo combo comes too little, too late for TES.
Never mind, I lied.
It looked like cinema. It was very close, but it is going to be Weibo at very least picking up a lot of gold. And you know what? We might be getting deja vu, but the other way around. Last time we had TES collect ban and then go for a very reserved end, a very calm, picking up all of the inhib powers, all of the inhibs, and then just a slow siege over the course of another Baron duration. Weibo could very easily pull off the same maneuver here, and the thing is, you have one ranged champion, and it is Kai'Sa, who is not renowned for long range, so sieging is difficult. Now we get to see how that all kicked off, and I kind of want to try and dissect, because there were so many particles happening right now. This is one of those images, like in about 3 seconds, that you show somebody and go, can you tell what's happening in this image? And everybody goes, yeah, I played League for 10 plus years. I know what's happening. Kai'Sa ends up having to dash to safety, and Elk does get off the important stopwatch to survive. And this is what I was alluding to earlier. If you get the initial pick, you then need to not use all your cooldowns, because if you don't kill everybody, it won't be enough. And guess what? They don't kill everybody. Weibo get away with murder and are able to collect the Baron and look for, at very least, a siege, if not an end angle here.
With a 13,000 gold advantage, I would be damn near impressed to see Weibo chuck this one. Top Esports will still try to play it out as best as they can, but it's pretty damn tough when Elk is this far ahead on the Kai'Sa. He is pretty much Thanos, and he's ready to snap his fingers. Already deletes one off the rip. Jiejie sends it for the engage. Elk is peeled off to the back line. 369 tried to burn him down, but he goes golden, bets the triple. Still has a killer instinct available. Never mind, he doesn't have it anymore. I thought there was going to be an angle for a pentakill for this Kai'Sa, but Weibo Gaming will get the ace. They'll delete the Nexus turrets, and they're going to bring us to a third game of this series.
18 kills. 18 kills. I don't think we need to spend too much time pondering on who's getting MVP for this game. That was decisive fashion.
Actually?
Go on.
Hang on. I know
Let him
that
cook. Let him cook.
Elk's Kai'Sa is probably going to get it and definitely deserves to be in the conversation. But Jiejie's Baron Steel.
I thought that's what you were gonna say. Yeah.
Cause hear me out. Elk is a massive problem, but Top Esports still had effectively 3 other champions that were still in the game and had the ability to at least mark them pound for pound, stat difference wise. The call for the Baron, I understand it. Pantheon usually clears every other jungle when it comes to smite secures, because you have empowered Q, and usually with the new 1400 smite, you can look for it as early as 1700. It's at 1500, Jiejie immediately calls the bluff and says he's gonna look for a Q smite right here, and he sneaks in his smite just as NaiYou tries to thread in the Q. And
it was peak. Listen, I'm a jungler. Game got to respect game. That was crazy work, and it was the turning point off the back of the team fight that followed. Is I think the important part as well, because it was really good recognition of Weibo to take that rel out of the picture. Because if you go straight to the Baron, suddenly there's a magnet storm on the flank. Even if you get the Baron in the steal, you get wombo comboed into oblivion. And so I think that from that point, really, Weibo played the game as well as you physically could have, in the terms of being able to just respect the amount of volatility this game had between both teams, both amount of engages. And you know what? It's not often you see a guy solo die to Rel as Kai'Sa at like level 5 or so, and then pull off a game like that. But if there was going to be someone, it's definitely Elk. It's definitely Elk.
Yeah, like, listen, if they give Elk player of the game, it's not egregious, and it's totally valid. It's not even just like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, that probably is going to be the most reasonable answer. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents for Jiejie.
I respect. It was definitely an important point, and you know what? While we're giving the flowers over to the Weibo squad, Xiaohu didn't throw that game. Pretty good.
Woo!
Pretty good. That's all we needed. That was all we needed. Like, Creme did an incredible job with his jungler early game to make it difficult, but the Rise, after you get a certain amount of tank itemization, it's really hard to blow you up in a side lane. We saw several times Xiaohu was able to slip away with the Realm Warp after pushing out any kind of, well, really wave into the towers and get a lot of that standing gold, which again just takes attention away from blowing up Elk, the main target for TES this game that they weren't able to fixate on, they weren't able to knock down as we're running through the player game. And you know what? I see both Kai'Sa and Jarvan doing something right now. So, you know, if you want to try and add a bit of drama, we could say, ooh, it's close. Who's going to get it? This was one of those team fights where we saw Weibo Gaming push forward and it looked like TES had found the formula to win, but they just weren't able to replicate it.
Once again, another great engage here by Top Esports, just being able to pick up members one after another. But it's this Baron. It's this Baron play. Watch.
On, give a slow-mo.
1500.
Zoom and enhance on that Baron HP. Oh, why'd you pan down? Observer, come on. You know, actually, the Observer got done dirty by the highlights bit at the bar at the top.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's a possibility. That is definitely a possibility.
On their feed, it definitely shows, but without the bar, what can you do?
Yeah, no, that's a shame. So, if you're a Top Esports fan, I think some of the concerns that we had going into the series and started to alleviate after the game 1, I think it's still fine, because 369 still had a pretty good Rumble performance. His equalizers were fantastic, and Creme did.
I wouldn't say
he
Creme
did
was
everything
a
that he tried to. Yeah. Neither of the solo lanes were a problem this game, like they have been for the opening week of LPL Split 1, right? Literally, this just came down to Top Esports feeling like, okay, guys, Elk is starting to become a massive problem. We just need to flip, and we need to rely on Pantheon Q Smite to just secure us the Baron so we can get back into this game. So I think if you're a Top Esports fan, you don't have to fault solo lanes at all, because that was it's less of a, oh my god, Top Esports through, and more of a, holy moly, Jiejie is a god, right? Like, he just pulled out an incredible smite steal. So Going to game 3, this now sets us up for hopefully top esports and Weibo Gaming at their strongest. The fact that Weibo were able to prop up Elk yet again in a strong point, but this time ensure that JiaQi was not nearly as much of a problem as he was in game 1, I think now puts a grand focus on bot lane, especially for top esports.
100%. It's going to be an area where we're just going to have to stare, as on the subject of that bot lane, you know, it was I wouldn't call it a 50-50 of who was getting it, but I think, you know, Elk very much earned it. You know, after the early game, I think he was 4-3 from memory, and then didn't die from that point onwards, and just hoovered up gold with no remorse, and it was enough to push them over the line. I think we're about ready to prospect for what's coming forward, but we're going to have to think now which of these teams can really pull it together to finish out a series that means so much for the final standings.
Only time will tell, and it is so important for either team to get a win here in the books, because the rest of Group Ascend is looking damn near terrifying, and they need to start making work of getting some wins of their own so that they are not immediately in contention of losing a playoff spot potentially to one of our top Perseverance teams going into Night's Rivals at the end of regular season. We have our third game of the series coming your way right after this break.